Hey guys, welcome to the Homestead. So today I thought I'd do something a little bit different, something a little maybe fun. I don't know. I have told people often for years when asked about what can I do to prepare myself for homesteading, my answer has always been the same, and that is to learn how to cook. Zach, I want to prepare myself for homesteading. What's the best way? I'm not ready to make that jump yet, but we want to prepare our families. How do we do this? How do we go about learning things now? Because I tell people that's something important. And I tell everyone who asks me this to make sure you learn how to cook. Because one of the biggest culture shocks that people get once they make this jump off into homesteading, whether it be off-grid or not, is that they move to a place that's rural, and then they maybe plant a garden. Maybe they'll put up some produce or some canning, stuff into a pantry, but they don't know what to do with any of it. They're used to living in the drive-thrus. They're used to living in the restaurant or eating in the restaurants. And so that's how they get their food, and they never really learn how to cook. People in the suburbs will spend thousands, tens of thousands of dollars on beautiful kitchens and never really use them. Never cook from scratch, don't know how to use whole food ingredients and all of that. And so that has been my answer for years. And go out and learn how to cook. Practice cooking. Practice using whole food ingredients. Practice using things that you're going to grow once you do have a homestead. And so that's what we did. And it really helps us transition, because what you're going to encounter if you don't do that is you're going to encounter quite a bit of culture shock when you move to a place that's rural, that the nearest drive-through or the nearest restaurant's 30 minutes away or more. And, you really have to now use your food that you've grown, and you don't know how to do that. That's going to be a culture shock, and it's going to be a reason of stress, and it can be a reason why people quit. I have seen it over and over. Now, all that to say, I was going back through some old papers of mine, and I found some grades from high school. Now, if you don't know, I went to Cleveland Junior Naval Academy in St. Louis. I know Cleveland. It's actually in St. Louis, but it's called Cleveland after the President Cleveland that we had in the past. Grover Cleveland. Anyway, all that to say, Cleveland Junior Naval Academy. And it was it was not an ROTC program at a high school. It was a naval academy. It was partially funded by the United States Navy. And so that's where I went to high school. Before that, I went to Pruitt Military Academy, also in St. Louis at the time. And the reason I started going to the schools is because I was doing really bad. I actually failed my 7th grade at the public school system. And my parents said, okay, that's enough. We need something that's got a lot more structure for you, and something that can instill discipline into you. And they put me at Pruitt Military Academy, and I excelled. I did very, very, very well. Got to then transitioned in high school over to the Naval Academy in St. Louis, the Cleveland Junior Naval Academy there. And I'll put some pictures up on screen so you can see me. I think my junior years there. Anyway, did all that. And, by the time I got back to senior in high school, junior in high school, I was pretty bored with high school. I hated high school. I skipped a lot of class. I passed. I graduated, I even took the ASVAB, and I scored very high on the ASVAB. I was just bored with school. I did not enjoy school. The only thing I really did enjoy was history, obviously, because I really like history. We had a guy named David Strauss who was on the radio at the time. He had his own radio show in St. Louis on one of the AM stations, and he would do trivia and history topics and things like that. And he taught the history class at the Naval Academy. So I really enjoyed his class. It was always fun. You learned something. And let's see, I really enjoyed the naval science classes that they had there. In fact, I even have one of my naval science books still today. And actually, I go back and I reference this on certain topics too. It's actually a really good book. So I've got my naval science textbook still. I enjoyed those classes. But there was other classes I just were bored to tears with. But I scored very high on the ASVAB. I believe I was pretty intelligent. I was just bored with all of the school stuff. And I was definitely going to join the military. And I was just waiting that time out, for that time. And everyone thought I was ridiculous because I scored so high on the ASVAB that I joined the infantry. And they're like, what? You could do anything. Why would you join the infantry? I'm like, that's where all the good stuff happens. That's where everyone has the best stories. Why would I join anything else? So that's what I did. I joined the infantry, and everybody thought I was crazy because of my ASVAB score. Anyway, all that to say, just giving you a little bit of background of where I've come from. I went back through my paperwork. I have my yearbook here. And I went back through some paperwork, and I found something that was very interesting. This is actually a picture of my freshman year there, where we went to the Great Lakes Naval Station. They made us stay a week. It was a little over a week or something like that at the Great Lakes Naval Station in Illinois, and got to do some fun stuff there. But this is what I wanted to share with you today. I took a class as a junior at Cleveland Junior Naval Academy for home ec. And I believe it was Mrs. Beyer. I forgot what her first name is. But her husband was actually a senior chief at the academy. So it was like a husband-wife team. But she taught home ec. And then she accompanied, we did a lot of field trips. And so she would also accompany the students on field trips as like a chaperone. And then her husband was a senior chief, retired, and he was one of the teachers of the naval classes that they had there. They had several different naval classes that you could take depending on what grade level you were at. So she taught home ec my junior year. And let me show you what grade I had. What grade did I have? Mrs. Byers' class. Mrs. Byers, I don't know if she's still alive or not. Some of you guys out there, Senior Chief Beyer, if anybody knows anything about Cleveland Junior Naval Academy, I know maybe some of you are out there. And Mrs. Beyer, let me know if she's still alive. I don't know if she is or not. Anyway, final grade, F. I got an F in home ec, my final grade. Now that was third quarter, so I still had the fourth quarter to pull my butt out of the hole, and I did, and I passed, thank goodness. But I was just bored, and there was all these days absent that I took. You can see all the days absent. I was skipping a lot of class. I was just bored. Now, all that to say, my homestead journey, because you begin a homestead journey by what I told you, learn how to cook. Learn how to use whole food ingredients. I failed. So it just goes to show that any of you can fail and then pull yourself out of that hole that you find yourself in. This is one of the cans of cowboy candy that I made last year. I have so many jalapenos. Last night I just made, I don't know, probably 30, 40 different stuffed poblanos and stuffed jalapenos. With cream cheese and hamburger, grass-fed hamburger that we get. And I put all that into the oven and cooked that because I'm like, I don't need to keep jalapenos anymore. I've got a lifetime supply of jalapeno cowboy candy, and I got a lifetime supply of pickled jalapenos in my pantry, things we've canned in the past. I mean, I have come a long way from failing home ec in my junior year of high school to now doing things that I do on the homestead. If Mrs. Beyer is out there, I want to regrade because I think I would pass the class today. Because any homesteader out there, if you're a homesteader, if you have a garden and you put up stuff in your pantry and you butcher animals because you raise your own animals. I got all my sheep over there. They're coming into view. Maybe you'll see them coming into view here before the end of the video. But you butcher your own animals, you put your own meat up, and it's like you're a graduate of home ec, because that's all that used to be. When you think about home ec in the 1950s, when that was what did they do? They made their own butter and they made their own breads and they taught students how to do these things. There was all kinds of labs listed on here. Like there was an egg dish we had to make. One says egg dish, egg test. I'm assuming that has to do with eggs. So there's eggs and an egg test. I got a 0 on the lab work for eggs. So it's like, do you see how many eggs I put up? I pickle my own eggs. I pickle quail eggs. I do all kinds of things with eggs on the homestead. I mean, I even grind up my eggshells to put it on the garden for the next year to provide calcium to the soil. Like, I have come leaps and bounds. And my point of this is that, yes, you begin your homesteading journey by learning how to cook. And if for some reason you were like me and you failed home ec, it's okay. Because, if you're a homesteader, you're an A student at this point. You're almost forced to be an A student because everything you're going to do otherwise is going to fail. You learn how to preserve food. You learn how to bake bread. You learn how to make butter. And you learn how to, can goods and cowboy candy. And, I save all this for like peanut brittle that I make in the wintertime for the boys because they like that. You're making your own candy. You're doing all this stuff. You're growing a garden. You're making, like I made pizza sauce this year instead of salsa. But you make salsa. You make all these things. And you learn how to cook with it all. If Mrs. Byer is out there, I would like a regrade. Because I'm sure I was a horrible student back then. And, apple pie crust. I got a 95 on that one. Let's see what else here. Oh, some kind of worksheet homework I got a 0 on, probably because I didn't turn it in. Vegetable, whatever lab I got for vegetables, I got a 45 on that. So, it's just, I think I've redeemed myself. So congratulations to all you homesteaders out there who are home ec experts now. Whether you were back then or not, it doesn't matter. Now you're a home ec expert. Did you guys take home ec in high school? Leave a comment below. Anybody out there, Cleveland Junior Naval Academy, know where the Byers are today? I'd love to get an update on them. I don't know if they're still around or not. But I know her husband was senior chief or master chief. I'm not sure. I think it was senior chief. And then, Judy Byer was her name. Judy Byer. I wonder if they're still around. I wonder if I can get a regrade. Leave a comment below. Hey, check out our merchandise over at teespring.com. You can find our Stupid Shit Hurt shirt. If we had more hurt in this world, we'd have an awful, awful lot less stupid. Let me read you the note here. Let me read you the note that she wrote on here right there. It says, Zach always has an excuse for his failures. I think that's good. I have an excuse. It's not like I don't have an excuse. He is very immature. The Ozark Homesteading Expo is coming up this next week, September 6th. I will be kicking off the day Friday, talking about homesteading and tent number 1. There's going to be thousands of people out there. Joel Salatin, so many other great names you've heard and probably watched on YouTube. Come check me out at the Ozarks Homesteading Expo. I'm looking forward to seeing all you guys out there. All right. I run now a perfect pickler company, vegetable fermentation. I know we didn't do that in home ec in high school. Vegetable fermentation, being able to make your own probiotics at home. Good stuff. See you next time at the Homestead. Bye.
Have you ever gone to a health food store and seen all those small bottles of probiotics in your cooler section? Man, can they be pricey. Are you really getting all you need to improve your gut health from those expensive bottles? How viable are they? Most of those products claim to give you between 8 and 15 strains of gut-healthy healing bacteria. Think of each strain of bacteria as a different factory in your gut. Each factory is responsible for breaking down that food in its own way. The more factories you have, the more the food is broken down and the easier the food is absorbed and digested by the body. A 2018 study published by the National Library of Medicine shows that one fermented head of cabbage can produce up to 114 strains of beneficial bacteria. That's a lot more food factories than you're getting from that expensive pill bottle. And that's just cabbage. Imagine the probiotics when you add garlic, onions, pepper, and more to that ferment. PerfectPickler.com and its home fermentation kits provide you with everything you need to get started making your own gut-healthy food factories from the comfort of your own kitchen. PerfectPickler.com even provides a jam-packed recipe book with many of our kits. Visit PerfectPickler.com and start fermenting your own veggies to begin your journey to better gut health. That's PerfectPickler.com.
Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of an American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the homestead that we make here on the homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. Oh wait,